is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. It does not matter who the host is. Anyways, hopefully you had a fantastic weekend. Today is Monday, October the 18th of 2021, day 291st of the year, and only 74 days left to go before we get to see the end of this show as we are talking. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, coming across the multiverse of Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio.
Yes, hanging out with our friends and partners at Radio Big. So how are things? How was your weekend? Did you do some fantastic stuff? Did you do some things that you were proud of? Did you do some things that you'd be willing to call home to mama and let her know exactly what was going on? So there you go. Let's start talking and moving and grooving and doing all that kind of fun stuff as we enter into another lovey-dovey fun week. It is the week of October the 18th, or today is October the 18th, and this is going to be a fun week with everything circulating, going around, and all of that fun stuff. So let's get moving right away, and let's start talking about what is going on according to the trends from over the weekend. Saturday was National Sweetest Day, just in case if you missed that. Also, hashtag Trump hiding was trending on Saturday, as the hashtag was started by Medea's Touch, who asked why former president was scared to go to Virginia. Democrats have been mocking 45 over gubernatorial candidate Glenn Youngkin's attempt to distance himself from former president. Another hashtag that was making the actual trends over the weekend was hashtag DC Fandom, was trending over the weekend. The global virtual fan event that was held on Saturday featuring 3.5 hours of announcement, movie reveals, game shows, comics, and more. Hashtag Black Adam and hashtag Smallville were also trending under that hashtag. Wow. That's a hashtag for a hashtag of another hashtag. That makes it interesting. And then Sunday was National Pasta Day, which nobody should celebrate because that's not a good idea. No, I'm joking. So that was what was going on there. Also, hashtag Happy Birthday Eminem was trending on Sunday. Fans wished the rapper a happy 49th birthday. So there you go. And then last but not least, hashtag why men shouldn't try new things landed on Twitter and top 10 trends yesterday, including because you know a woman is going to come behind you to fix it, their wife doesn't like it, because hospitals are overcrowded and there are already idiots who do stupid shit, let's not add more, and because women will always complain. So there you go. I don't make the trends. That's just the trends that were occurring over the weekend, just in case. If you were wondering what was going on out there. So outside of that, a lot of stuff, a lot of things going on. Some fantastic news that I will share with you here in just a tiny bit of info, and I'll tell you about some things that I'm doing. To put that inside of your pocket rocket and go from there, and we'll start talking about that stuff. So let me get you to my friends at Feature Story News and let them tell you what the hell they have going on, because I always think that that's important because they tell some good stuff, some goody goodness, and all that kind of fantastic things. So let's get you to the friends at Feature Story News and let them go away and take it.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. The South Indian state of Kerala has been devastated by deadly floods that have claimed at least 21 lives and left hundreds missing. The Indian military's joined rescue efforts and helicopters are being used to fly supplies and personnel to areas that have become inaccessible due to flooding. Nihir Punia reports.
Sudden and incessant rainfall over the weekend led to flooding in many parts of South Indian state Kerala. As rivers swelled with rainwater, they cut off access to towns and villages and led to landslides that buried many homes. Kerala is still under a red alert, with officials saying many dams are close to breaching their Mark II. Fishing boats and helicopters are now being used to evacuate survivors trapped in regions where roads have been swept away and trees uprooted. Officials say they are racing against time to rescue those who may still be trapped, and locals have also joined the efforts in some places. But there are worries that the death toll could climb further. Neha Punya, New Delhi.
China has hit out at Canada and the US after both countries sailed warships through the Taiwan Strait last week. It's accusing the two countries of colluding with each other to stir up trouble and jeopardize peace and stability. Patrick Falk reports from Beijing.
The Canadian frigate HMCS Winnipeg and USS Dewey sailed through the Taiwan Strait together on Thursday and Friday. The US military said it demonstrated Washington's and its allies' commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. According to Chinese media, it's the first time in recent years warships from the US and another country jointly transited the narrow waterway which separates Taiwan from its giant neighbour. China says its military monitored the ships and stood guard throughout their passage. It added that its theatre forces always maintain a high level of alert and resolutely counter all threats and provocations. Patrick Falk, Beijing.
Boris Johnson will lead tributes to Sir David Amess in the House of Commons later after the MP was stabbed to death. The Conservative backbenchers' family say their hearts are shattered. The government's reviewing MP's security. Almost a month since Germany went to the polls in national elections, coalition talks continue between parties hoping to form a new government. Climate change remains a key issue on the agenda, as Trent Murray reports from Berlin.
The proposed establishment of a Ministry for Climate Protection was confirmed Sunday evening by Christian Lindner, the leader of the pro-business FDP party. In an interview with German broadcaster ARD, he said that his party, which is currently in coalition talks to form a new government, was supportive of the move, but gave limited detail on the types of powers such a ministry could have. Polling shows climate change was the top issue of concern at last month's election. Trent Murray, Berlin.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at the sense of fear expressed by some politicians in the UK following the murder last week of Conservative Party lawmaker Sir David Amess, as he was meeting some of his constituents who had made appointments to see him. His killing, the second of an elected lawmaker in 5 years, has caused widespread shock and horror in the UK. Lisa Nandy is a Member of Parliament with the opposition Labour Party, first elected 11 years ago.
It's when you're walking the streets and when you're out and about, there've been a number of times when I've been threatened or my staff have been threatened, and I think it is getting worse. But I also think it brings out the best in people. That, you know, even just this morning, as I've been doing the media round, although I'm still getting a regular sort of drumbeat of abuse on social media, my inbox is absolutely full this morning of people saying thank you for what you and other MPs are doing, and people are like that in the real world as well. And that's why I think this is so important, and we need to take it seriously, because most people want their MPs to be able to represent them. This isn't just an attack on us, this is an attack on anybody who believes in a free society.
Police say the assassination of Sir David Amess may have been an act of terrorism. It has certainly sparked a debate about whether more needs to be done now to protect members of Parliament while finding a way of continuing to allow them to mix freely with the people they represent. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, the South Indian state of Kerala has been devastated by deadly floods that have killed at least 21. China's hit out at Canada and the US after both countries sailed warships through the Taiwan Strait. Boris Johnson will lead tributes to Sir David Amess in the House of Commons later. And almost a month since Germany went to the polls, coalition talks continue. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush.
Rated R Safety Show
On Safety FM.
You know how sometimes there's plans for everything out there? You have plans of going back to the gym. You have plans on eating right. You have plans on doing a diet. You know, all those things. What if I told you that you can make a plan to stop male pattern baldness. And let me tell you how you can start this journey off right now with my friends at Keeps. All you have to do is go to the website keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to receive your first month free of treatment. Keep in mind, 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both. So all you need to do is go to KEEPS.com/safety to find out more and to get your plan rolling. Now keep this in mind. For a limited time, get your first month free. Claim your offer at KEEPS. That's keeps.com/safety. KEEPS.com/safety.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Listen to our host
Of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. Another round of news stories and all that kind of fun stuff as we're going through on this lovely Monday. I almost called it a Tuesday. 14 minutes past the top of the hour. I have to tell you, I was up late working, and that's not a joke. What I was doing last night, it was for the network, meaning Safety FM, but it was not for this show. And boy, was it tons of fun. And we'll talk about that coming up, where there'll be a big interview coming up on one of the shows that we curate here on Safety FM. But we'll talk about that as we come about. You'll like it. I'm telling you, it was a double episode being recorded last night. And you'll like it. The guest was halfway from the other side of the planet, so that's why it was the late night. But we'll talk about that later on. So let me tell you some things that are going on real quick before I forget, and we start getting into the story of the weirds and all that kind of fun stuff. Just in case, I want you to be aware, if you're hanging out right now on this lovely Monday with us, there has been a new change to our phone number. And this is where it's going to get strange, so we'll probably have to go through it several times over, but don't worry, I'll try to make it as specific as possible. So 866-930-SFM1 is still an existing number, and you can text in and all that kind of fun stuff, and that does not change. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear here. But going forward, we have now advance into the world of technology, because this is what we have decided to do. But our new number, it's going to sound weird when I say it, so let me explain what it is. It's callinradio.com. Yes, that's our new phone number, and you're like, what? So here's the gig, so I want to explain it to you. If you go to callinradio.com, it's going to give you some different features. Number one, you can call us. Well, that's pretty simple because that's why a phone number. But it's going to let you call us via audio. It can let you call us via video, or it will also let you message us. So call in all in one place. And all you have to do is hit it into your browser. And I'm talking about from your browser, from your mobile device. It could be the browser of anything that you're using. And all you have to do is go to callinradio.com, and that will get you directly in connection to our lovely little studio here and get you moving and grooving. So 866-930-SFM1 does still exist, but it is going bye-bye. So callinradio.com is the new number. I think that we try to make it as simple as possible. Callinradio.com will get you directly into the station. So there you go. Now you have the new IGs of what's going on there. So there we go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world here. And let's start getting you into the stories of what is happening inside of the news. Ed Orgenten is leaving SLU 21 months after he led the Tigers to a national championship that was considered to be one of the greatest teams in college football history. The Orgenten, I don't know why they're calling him Orgenten. Orgenten, in his 49-17 with the Tigers over 6 seasons. Athletic director Scott Woodward said the past 2 seasons have not met the standards set of the expectations, and it is time to go a new direction. Hold on. So 21 months ago and already, so he's out the door. Hey, I guess you can't live on what you did in the past. It's all about what you can do for me in the future, baby.
Duh.
So think about it in that regards. Anyways, up to half of Chicago police officers could be placed on unpaid leave because of the city requirements to reveal their vaccine status. The dispute of the emblematic of the tension across the country between unions and employees as cities and businesses enforce the vaccine mandate. At least 228 officers have died of COVID-19 this year, adding to the 245 reported deaths from last year, according to the Officer Down Memorial page. So there you go. So think about that real quick. With a lot of the action that we hear about coming out of the Chicago area, I'm going to tell you, if I ever go to Chicago, apparently I'm not going to be a well-liked source of information just based on the stuff that we talk about here. But hey, I'm just telling you the news that we're able to find, and we share it right here in this sequence of event. Anyways, I would love to hear what you have to say about that. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. You see how simple that became? Call in radio. Now I'm not giving you some long ass number system on where you need to go. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. I love saying that. It's so much easier. Anyways, the FDA will delay the decision of authorization of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine for teens while it examines whether or not it leads to inflammatory heart conditions. The move comes after 4 Nordic countries have taken stronger stances against giving the vaccine to younger individuals. The issues around I almost feel like when you say this, when you start talking about this, there's so many iggies here. So the issue is actually around the condition of the heart inflammation. A larger number who have received the Moderna vaccine experience problems compared to Pfizer. A larger number who received this have a bigger number than the Pfizer. A timeline for the decision has become unclear. I mean, it's always interesting when you start talking about meds and medications and all this kind of fun stuff, because you never know. You never know what the egg's going to be. You never know what's going to come about. So what do you think about this? I always love, the court of public opinion, because I think it's importante. It's definitely importante as we are talking, because here's the egg. If we start talking about this and never talk about the other stuff that we're seeing, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, I don't think we're giving a lot of info when it comes to all that. Okay, so there you go. Lego will remove the gender bias from its product after a study commissioned by the brand found that the girls are hindered by unequal and restrictive attitudes toward the creativity and play. The toy maker did not outline specific changes to the product or marketing, but did say it is committed to ensuring that they are free of gender bias and harmful stereotypes. The company has previously come under fire for reinforcing gender stereotypes. In 2011, the brand's Lego Friends was criticized for targeting girls with pink beauty parlors and cupcakes. So there you go. There you go. So worth asking, what is actually stopping a girl from buying a boy's Lego or vice versa? I mean, I don't know. It's just a question to come about. I always thought Legos were just blocks. I have never sat back and said, hey, this is specific to one sex or another. I mean, but I don't know. I have bought Legos for both of my daughters in one way, shape, or form, and we just play the damn thing. I never thought about it of, hey, this is sexually biased to one format or another, but what the heck do I know again? You know what I'm saying?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, 22 minutes past the top of the hour, Rated R safety show going on right now. At least 24 lawsuits have been filed across the U.S., many in the recent weeks, by people seeking to force hospitals to give their COVID-19 stricken loved ones the ivermectin, or the horse dewormer, as some like to call it. The drug has been a hot topic of conversation since the interest started rising towards the end of last year, mostly among the conservative crowd. The lawsuits are fairly similar. The families have gotten the prescription for the drug, but hospitals refuse to use it. The results have been mixed. Some judges have refused to order the hospitals to give it, while others have ordered medical providers to administer the drug, despite the concerns that it could be harmful. Hospitals have pushed back, saying that they will not administer a drug that has not been approved for combating COVID-19. So, I don't know. So, let's go into the spiel of the world. So, worth asking, what was actually have been approved to combat the virus, and isn't it worth looking into? Number one. Also, how many other drugs are out there have been used off-label use for the sake of saving lives? And we can go down a whole path of stuff that maybe you have been prescribed, I have been prescribed, where it says, well, we have tried this for this, it's normally for that, but we are going to try it for this to see if it works out. I mean, I'm just saying, think about it, because this will not be the first time that this has been a topic of conversation. And then the other side, worth noting, this all goes back to transparency, the lack administration facts, that the actual science has so many Americans doing their own research. When the government and certain health officials write something off, it makes some individuals want to use it even more. The lack of trust that is inside of the system is creating more and more chaos. And I will tell you, this is across the board here, and this is not becoming the political rant show, but a lot of people are very hesitant about whatever side, whatever party says this. It's like if one party says that, all of a sudden now the people inside of the other party have to check about what one party said regarding about a medical thing. I never knew on how medicine became so political. Seriously, how did it become so political? I just don't get it. I'm big into saving lives. I think that that's probably more important. If the shit works, let's see what we can actually do, but let's take a look at long-term effects, regardless of what side of whatever the hell you're pushing. Make sense? I think so. But then again, it's a conversation worth having.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, U.S. health officials advisory endorsed a booster of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine on Friday. The panel told the FDA that the extra dose adds an important protection as early as 2 months after the initial vaccination, as the dose who received the single shot does not the dose aren't protected as those given the two shot from other brands, just in case. The advisors noted that preliminary results of the ongoing study of mix and matching the different vaccines showed that the booster of any sort revved up people's levels of antibodies, but the most dramatic just came across giving Pfizer or Moderna a shot after a single dose of Johnson & Johnson. Worth asking, how likely are those who opted for the Johnson & Johnson jab because it was only one shot now have to go get a booster? Because that's going to be the interesting one, because let's just be realistic. at some point, if you were probably debating about vaccines and all that kind of fun stuff, and you heard that the Johnson & Johnson one had a one-shotter, had a one-jabby jab, and that was all you had to do, you were probably interested at the time. I'm just saying because it was one and done, and I'm all about the one and done if all possible. So think about it that way. Anyways, a Haitian gang has been blamed for abducting 17 missionaries among the U.S.-based organization. The 400 Mazawu gang, known as the Brazen Kidnapping and Killing, snatched up a group in Ganthier. Haitian police inspectors France Japanching told the Associated Press. Ohio-based Christian Aid Ministry said the kidnapped group consisted of 16 U.S. citizens and 1 Canadian. There were 5 children in the group. The kidnapping occurred after the group had visited a local orphanage. A senior U.S. official said that they're in touch with the Haitian authorities to try to resolve the case. So there you go. Some always interesting things going on inside of the world of the news as we are talking. Anyways, Catholic Church leaders have banned baptismal godparents in one Italian diocese amid concern of the role of more unsavory than a sacred and can be exploited by the mafia. Religious leaders in Catania issued a 3-year ban of baptism tradition, claiming that many families enlist local power brokers to be their children godparents because they are interested in securing gold necklaces and networking opportunities for families other than spiritual leadership. According to a report in the New York Times, the ban put a damper on the christening celebration of the Sicilian region. Boy, that took a turn for the dark quick. It really was kind of dark. That's not what I expected for that to come out. Anyways, human remains were found in late September in Montezuma, Iowa, have been positively identified as 11-year-old Xavier Harrelson. Xavier was reported missing on May the 27th, less than a week after school let out for the summer. The cause of death has not been released yet. The Russian thrusters accidentally titled the International Space Station for the second time this year. The Soyuz MS-18 was scheduled to bring a small crew back to Earth early Sunday, but during a planned pre-departure test, the thrusters continued to fire beyond the end of the test, resulting in a loss of altitude for altitude control overall. The NASA official said that the flight controlled were able to regain altitude control as a space station within about 30 minutes. They also noted that the crew was awake during the incident, but no danger. So no danger, Will Robinson, no danger. A similar incident occurred in July when thrusters were newly arrived Russian modules started firing and rotated the base about 540 degrees. Talk about a freaky deaky incident right there. That would definitely put a shock inside of your spot, no doubt about it whatsoever. Anyways, before we get too far away, let's have Johnny Smalls come in and talk about the Market Beat Minute.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, October 18th, 2021. The stock market extended its rebound Friday, confirming a reversal in the S&P 500. The index formed a head and shoulders reversal pattern at the 4,300 level and is on track to reclaim its recently set all-time high this week. The market should be supported by earnings as the Q3 earnings season kicks into high gear. But there is still a risk for stocks in the global supply chain issues plaguing the economy today. This week, earnings from Johnson & Johnson, WD-40 Corporation, Verizon, and Whirlpool will be in the market's focus. If they can sustain the trend of better-than-expected results, the broad market should continue higher. Also on tap this week, key reads on the housing market, the Fed's Beige Book, and the Index of Leading Indicators. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, because that's always important news on what's going on inside of the stock market. So that's how Friday closed out. Let's see what actually happens today. Anyways, let's get into our main news story, because I think it's time to do that. You know, it's around that time. I think it is. Really?
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So maybe at some point I'll learn how to press the buttons inside of here and see exactly what is going on. Anyways, 31 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday and talking about the things that are going on inside of the world of the news. So I don't know if you kind of took a look around about what we titled this thing this morning. I don't know if you took a look around on what was going on or if you've been paying close attention to what is going on with job reports. I don't know if you're paying attention to what is going on overall in most organizations. I mean, let's just be realistic. Sometimes we get so narrow viewed on how we jump into things, we kind of just take the look down and start making the run and start going forward with stuff. So let's talk about this. Are you noticing more and more that people are speaking with their feet? What? Yes. Noticing more and more that people are speaking with their feet. Let's talk about what this exactly means. There are so many people that are out there that are getting up and saying, no more. I am no longer hanging out at this place of employment. I am no longer hanging out inside of this toxic work environment. I am no longer okay with not being okay. Now listen, there is a mass exodus going across the board here in a lot of different things, and it could be related to a number of things. It could be the way related to how people are being treated inside of the work environment. It could be the way that all of a sudden there's a requirement for something that you need to inform that you don't want to inform. It could be the way that you are being treated. It could be so many different things inside of those organizations. Now, here's the thing. People do speak with their feet. But what has come about as of late is that there are more jobs available than there have been in a long time. And when I say more jobs, I'm talking about there are a lot of places right now that are hiring, but there are not good quality candidates that are available. So people are saying, hey, I don't like this, so I'm going to go over there. So what does that mean? Does that mean you need to change everything that's going on inside of your organization to make sure that people don't leave? I don't know. That's going to be something that you're going to have to decide. But you have to take a look around and determine what that culture inside of your organization looks like. You have to take a look around and determine what is going on with your workplace to see what is happening. Are you creating an environment that is attractive to other people that they want to stay in and work? Now, let's just be realistic if we're talking for a moment and really giving some consideration to some other things. How often in the past were people staying because there was great pay or great benefits, you had a pension that you might get at the end of time, and all this kind of fun stuff? This is not normally stuff that is available for the most part in most private sector work organizations. It's go in, make a killing, save as much as you can, live like no one else so later you can live like no one else. But that's not stuff that a lot of people tend to look at anymore. Now they're caring more about how the overall work environment is. Now, I want you to think about this. Depending what you do for work, you probably spend more time with the people that you work with, virtually or non-virtually, than the people that you actually live with. So it becomes one of those weird scenarios of how committed are you to the crime? How committed are you to the passion of what you're doing day in and day out? And this mass exodus is showing that people don't really give two shits about how the job is. If you take a look around, there is a demo that you will notice that most people are lasting nowadays inside of their work environment for about roughly 18 months. Majority of the reason why they leave, they don't like the work culture. The work culture. It's not the pay. It's not the benefits. It's the culture of the environment. You have to take a look around at some of these larger organizations on how all of a sudden they play into how the overall feeling. It's not the cubicle. It is not the virtual environment. I mean, when places start saying you are not on a timeline, that you don't have to be locked into a box between 8 and 5 every day. You don't have to be there 9 to 5. All of a sudden, you are based on work performance and deadlines. That becomes a different conversation. What if all of a sudden you were working somewhere that told you you had unlimited PTO? Unlimited. You can take as much time off as you want as long as your work is completed. That becomes a totally different conversation. Now, is that something that's doable for everything, for every position? Probably not. But are you doing other things inside of the environment that's making it something where people want to stay at? If you have employees or team members and you treat them like crap and the benefits are not that great and the environment's not that great, they're probably not going to stay. I will tell you, there are people that stay at work environments that they have terrible work cultures, but the pay's good. And it's the switch. Am I selling my soul for the money? Some people look at that at the end of the day and can't live with themselves and decide to move on. The struggle is real. So what are you seeing people do? How are they talking with their feet where you're at? It's really something to think about. Right now, if you were to take a poll inside of the place that you work at, is there about to be a mass exodus? Are people willing to stay where they're at? But then again, what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Okay, 41 minutes past the top of the hour. This is Wild Side by the Freaking Foxes. So there you go. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Little poppiness first thing this morning. You know, when we're doing beats per minute at 162. This is the Rated R Safety Show. I have to like it. I have to tell you, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Yep, everybody has a wild side. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that first thing in the morning because that could become a whole other kind of conversation. Maybe we'll keep that over for RadioBig.fm if you want to come out and hang out and do all that kind of stuff. Anyways, you are here with me. I am here with you. And I think we should probably talk real quick about what is going on inside of the world. I want to tell you about my friends real quick about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, you can call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741, or you can just go to their website at afsp.org. That's afsp.org to find out more information. Listen, you might not be struggling this, but you might know someone who is, or vice versa. You just never know what's going to happen. So know that there's resources that are available, people to talk to, and even little local chapters that you can join to have these discussions that are all important. So before you make your next move, just think about this. AFSP.org, or American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Anyway, so let's start talking a little bit more about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news. Thanks for the people that are already populating the box over here at callinradio.com. Thanks. Appreciate the messages already. Very lovely, lovely, lovely. So thank you very much. Anyways, let's continue talking. Leave the leaves. Nah, not joking. If you had raking and bagging leaves this weekend to do on your list, didn't get quite around to it, don't feel guilty. Experts say that doing so can be bad for your yard and for the planet. Dave Maserjeski, a naturalist. I thought a naturalist was like words for a nudist, but maybe I'm confused. A naturalist is the National Wildlife Federation, the NWF, says that leaving the leaves some in your yard can help fertilize the grass and other plants, provide shelter to animals, and even reduce emission from landfills. How? First off, leaves fall around the root zone of the plants, where they're doing like suppress weeds and other plants from growing. They also fertilize in the spring as they help compost. Leaves also provide shelter and sustenance to creatures such as earthworms, pill bugs. Oh, this sounds gross. And they are way up for the food chains for salamander, toads, box turtles, chipmunks, plus caterpillars, which provide food to birds. Why should you keep the leaves on landfill? Well, a huge volume of leaves can break down to form methane, a greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. So keep in mind. So keep your yards greener and green in even greener yards and plants. Wow, this is a very confusing one for that particular thing. That's for sure. My neighbors will be so happy to hear that he doesn't have to blow his leaves into my yard this year, so that'll be something to think about. And does this apply to the leaves that land in the gutter too? Just asking for a friend because I never know. And then insects provide food for birds. I didn't even know that they could cook, so maybe that's something else to think about.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so aisles be darned. Remember at the start of the pandemic, we were told to be careful with our groceries and wipe them down before bringing them into the kitchen and putting them away. Some people even stored them in a garage for a few days to make sure that there was no chance that they're bringing in the virus into their home. Now a new study has tested more than 900 samples from high-touch surfaces in an Ontario grocery stores, the virus that causes COVID-19, and found 0 positive results. That adds to the growing evidence of transmission of the coronavirus via surfaces is very improbable, according to Maria Carradina of the University of Gallup. Says that in order to contract the virus surface transmission, a combination of events have to align perfectly. Maybe it's serendipitousness. It doesn't happen often, but it can, but probably is very, very low. So do I still have to rinse my my produce then? I'm just asking the question. But a word of advice is it still shouldn't I still shouldn't pick up a used face mask. That's probably not in my best of ideas of things to do.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, new good news. A restaurant owner in Indonesia island of Bali watched his neighbor moved away, struggling to make ends meet during the pandemic and leaving trash behind. So the solution to the economic downturn and the environmental crisis of the community made Janur Yasa begin a program which residents could exchange plastic for rice. He says that it's a win-win. His neighbors are fed. He recycles plastic. It is a system that works since May of 2020 and has since then extended to more than 200 villages. In total, I collected about 500 tons of plastic. Yaza says that trying to change behavior and his method is showing that the example of through his actions. Now everyone who is out there is looking for plastic. All members of the Kardashians family are strongly advised to avoid this area. A Nell cat had a car tire around its neck. We talked about this last week, and was finally been freed from the hindrance. The bull elk was first seen about 2 years ago near Denver by a Colorado Parks and Wildlife officers. Since then, he has been spotted a handful of times in trail cameras. Officials say that the tire wasn't affecting his ability to eat or drink, but that they fear that the animal would become tangled into branches, which makes sense. Finally, acting on a tip, officers were able to tranquilize the 600 pounds and remove the tire. The estimated tire filled with about 10 pounds of debris, and the elk dropped about 35 pounds from the removal of the tire and antlers. They removed his antlers too. Well, that's kind of jacked up. They were also surprised at the condition of the animal's necks, but the animal was reported to be tired, if you get my drift there. Anyway, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the news, as we are 49 minutes past the top of the hour. Former President Bill Clinton was released from the care of the University of California Irvine Medical Center on Sunday afternoon. He had been admitted since Tuesday for urological infection and eventually spread to his bloodstream. He was spotted leaving the hospital with Hillary Clinton holding his elbow. So there you go, some things to share. Holding his elbow. Anyways, no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday's drawing will be for $94 million jackpot or a $66 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $65 million jackpot or a $46 million cash payout. So there you go. If you're interested in playing the game, you got a reason to. Anyways, let's talk about the top 5 movies from over the box office over the weekend. The Last Duel made $4.8 million. At number 4, The Addams Family at $7.1 million. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, fell down from the number 2 spot to number 3 at $16.5 million. At number 2, No Time to Die with $24.2 million. And surprisingly, because this is a surprise to me, I will tell you, this movie was released on Friday via Peacock. and also hitting the box office at the same time and coming in at the #1 spot over the weekend was Halloween Kills with a $50.3 million return. I mean, it's really what it boils down to, $50.3 million is what it brought in. And think about that, for something that's streaming live and in living color inside of your streaming services and then hitting the box office to still remain #1. Hey, that's some good power to you on however you marketed that thing. So buenos for you. So anyways, let's continue talking about some other things because it's always important to do so. Let's talk about what happened back on this date. Looking back at 2019, the first all-female spacewalk by NASA astronauts Christian Koch and Jessica Meir takes place outside of the International Space Center, or Space Station, better saying. That was back on this date in 2019. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays real quick. Jordan Callowell turns 31. Brittany Griner turns 31. Bristol Palin turns 31. Apparently a lot of 31. Riley Green, 33. Zac Efron, 34. Andrew Garcia, 36. The pop singer, just in case. Lindsey Vonn, 37. Frida Pinto, 37. Neo turns 42. Baby Bash, 46. And Jean-Claude Van Damme turns 61 today. Just in case, if you're looking for some days of the year to celebrate, we can tell you some of those today. Today's International Legging Day, National Chocolate Cupcake Day, National No Beer Day, National Clean Your Virtual Desktop Day. I need to do that, seriously. And then National Meatloaf Appreciation Day. Now, I don't know if I will do anything for love type of thing, or if it's just one of those things that it's just called that. So just some things to think about. Anyways, let's talk about, did you know a New Zealand city church, Christchurch, has cast its official wizard from the payroll after 23 years. The 88-year-old Breckenberry Channel was paid tax-free from NZ's $16,000, or U.S. equivalent to $11,280 a year, to provide the acts of wizardry and promote the city. But the city has ended its contract, saying that it's going to in more modern, diverse section. The city's website says that Christchurch is the only city to have had an official wizard since 1982. I didn't even know that was a job. How is that a job? If that was a job, I mean, what do you think that there would have been a mass exodus for that? I mean, think about it. Hey, you can come to Christchurch and become a wizard. How cool would that be? I mean, just think about that.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R safety show.
So before I get too far and forget about it, because I tend to do that from time to time, let's see what's going on with some wellness out there, because that's important.
This minute is brought to you by alessamorgan.com. Do you ever find yourself looking through the dollar menu at a fast food drive-thru? Although those meals can be easy on your wallets, they certainly are not easy on your body, and here's why. In order to serve up food quickly and cheaply, many fast food restaurants process the foods by stripping them of fiber, protein, and other nutrients. This interferes with our body's natural ability to know when to stop eating. Second, these foods create inflammation in our bodies. This inflammation will have both short-term effects from raising our blood pressure and cholesterol to contributing to digestive issues, draining the energy and affecting our mood, and also affect us long-term, making it difficult for us to lose weight in the future, as inflammation wreaks havoc on our hormones, joints, and arteries. Choosing menu items that will actually create value for our bodies is the best thing you can do for yourself. This minute was brought to you by Wellness Reset. For more information, please visit alessamorgan.com.
Okay, so there you go. The fast food stuff is probably taking a bigger tail on you than what you thought. So some things to think about for sure. Anyway, so let's continue talking about some other things. Let's give you some whack facts real quick. You can light a Bic lighter about 3,000 times before it runs out of fluid. If you're standing on a mountaintop and the conditions are just right, you can see a lit match from about 50 miles away. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. When feminine scents such as vanillas are sprayed in a women's clothing stores, sales increase. A trip around a baseball diamond is 20 yards long and a goal to run on a football field. Let's see. When it was introduced in 1848, the modern golf ball was called the Garapecha ball. And the melting temperature of bubble gum is about 125 degrees Fahrenheit. So just in case, if you wanted to know that. Anyways, if you're looking for some scoops for the BS for today, let me give you some of those as well. Saturday was National Boss Day, so I took my wife out for lunch. The Dodgers beat the Giants 2-1 Thursday to advance to the National League Division Series. Sorry I didn't watch. I already have something in my life that lasts forever and features little scoring, and that is known as my marriage. Wow, that's terrible. Who would say that kind of thing? That's terrible. At 90, William Shatner became the oldest person to travel into space last week. Did you know only 600 people have ever ventured into space? It used to be 601 until Brian Williams fessed up. David Lee Roth turned 67 last week. The remaining members of Van Halen celebrating by buying him a present, tossing it aside for a different gift, then getting rid of that one for a third present, and then bringing it back for the original gift. You'll get that if you're a Van Halen fan. Anyways, a man in India found guilty of murdering his wife with the use of the venomous snake. The man will go to prison, but the snake was set free because, it was definitely unarmed.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's do this real quick. Let's bring Johnny Smalls in one more time and let him give us a motivation minute real quick.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Tom. Najwa Zaban said, "Today, I decide to forgive you because my soul deserves peace." Such a great quote. Thanks, Tom. I've noticed that, too. When I forgive someone, I am the one at peace. If you keep holding on to something, you're trapping yourself in your own snare. And you are the one who pays the price. So let it go. Forgive them. You'll sleep better and you'll be more at peace. And doesn't that sound great? This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Anyways, let me tell you this real quick. If you need a random joke for today, try this. Who exactly was it who decided to call it emotional baggage and not get a grief face? If you need a phone starter for today, try this. The celebrity do you most admire? What celebrity do you most admire and why? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this one. Question: the average family uses about 8% of their what? Answer: TV channels. So there you go. Anyway, so I told you I was going to tell you something, and I totally forgot to mention it earlier, so I'll mention it now. Today, after a long push and shove and all that kind of fun stuff, at about noon Eastern time, if you come over to Safety FM Plus, noon Eastern time today, Safety FM Plus, I will finally release my first ebook. People have asked me for it and all that kind of fun stuff. Never knew what the hell to talk about. So we're going to talk about some psychology stuff inside of this thing, and it's going to be about brainwaves. So if you come over to safetyfmplus.com today, that's safetyfm and plus.com, I will have it up there around noontime. So if you want to come out, hang out, and all that kind of fun stuff, I got it there for you to come out and hang out. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on radiobig.fm and safetyfm.com. Thank you for always taking a listen, because that's always important. Without you, we can't do what we do here. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can. That's always important to remember. If you want to come and hang out with me, I'll be over at Radio Big for the next couple hours or so. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.